What's going on, guys? J243 here, and in this video I'm going to be going over the top modifications for the interior for your Scion TC. I feel like on my channel I focus a lot about the exterior and kind of like the performance things, but I never really talk about the interior things that you can do to these things. So in no particular order, I'm just going to be going over some of the most popular modifications, and I'll throw in some bonuses for things that people might not really think about. So let's just say that you've maximized the whole exterior look of this car, right? Or even any car, and you're kind of hit a dead zone and you don't really know what else to do. I guess this video can kind of help you, but there are some basic ones, but then there are some other cool ideas that you can do. But I'm just going to go into number one, which would obviously be the steering wheel. Now, don't get me wrong, the stock steering wheel on this thing, it looks good and it feels good, and there's really no reason to replace them other than looks, because like just the steering wheel itself, it feels really comfortable. You can definitely use this thing on the track with this kind of steering wheel. Because there are some cars that you get into and the steering wheel is just so ass. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Prius steering wheel is really garbo. And even my SC400 steering wheel is it feels like you're driving a boat. That being said, that is a luxury car, but for this specific chassis itself, it is a good steering wheel, and it's flat on the bottom, whatever, it's got the perforated leather. But what you can do to kind of maximize the look of this thing is you can get a carbon fiber steering wheel. Obviously you can bolt up an NRG steering wheel to these things, but my personal pick, and we'll just say hopefully it's coming to the channel soon, is the SoCal Garage steering wheel. I'll put a picture of it right here. It's pretty much a stock looking carbon fiber steering wheel. Now, it is more aggressive and there are plenty of options you can do. What it pretty much does is it uses the same core of your steering wheel, but pretty much you use the airbag. That's pretty much it. They build a whole new steering wheel around the exact same core of the existing steering wheel. And they also have a cool option where you can send your steering wheel, and it's a little bit cheaper if you send your steering wheel to them and they'll build it off of that. If you don't want to though, you can just build a whole new one, and they'll send you one out, and then you'll have two. You can have a spare and a new one. So now that we talked about number one, I'd like to move on to number two, which would be the shift knob. Now, a lot of people are probably gonna be like, why are you talking about a shift knob? I think shift knobs are pretty important as far as looks and I guess modifications go, right? Because if you have an ugly ass shift knob, earlier Corollas, they have kind of like this weird mushroom head looking thing. Like, the shift knob looks really ugly. Like, you can have a really nice interior and you can have a really ugly shift knob. Now, this is off of a RAV4. I do have a GR86 and I do have a GR Supra, but this thing's not manual, and they have, the numbers and the rows and stuff. So I used to rock that for a while. You could probably see it in my older videos, but I went more basic and I brought it back to the RAV4 one. I think the RAV4 one is the best fitting one. There's nothing wrong with the stock one. Let me just grab the stock one real quick. So I actually have both of them out. So this is from a GR Supra, this guy right here, which I used to rock because it has a lot of weight to it and it feels really good. But once again, I'm not manual, not yet at least. But anyway, here's the stock one, and there's nothing really wrong with the stock shift knob, but if you're not interested in the RAV4, they do have another option, which would be the TRD shift knob option. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of you even knew this existed. I actually found out about it pretty recently, but they did make a TRD shift knob. I'll pop a picture of it right here, and it pretty much does fit. That was another one that I'd like to add, because even though, you might not have a lot of TRD parts, you would have a good looking shift knob. So number three is going to be the lighting. So definitely the LED interior lighting. Now, I did make a video on this, so if you want to go check that out, you can. But the amount of pros that you get with the interior lighting is really good. Not only can you see better, but it just kind of looks better. Now, there's something about that early 2000s to early 2010s kind of yellow interior lighting. It looks really dull, especially when it's like pitch black. Like, yes, it does provide light. It does do what it needs to do, but the LEDs just look a lot better. Now, once again, I made a video about it if you want to go check it out, and it's relatively cheap. I got my kit for like $8 or $6 or something like that. So what you can do is you can do the two front up here, you can do the rear one back here, you can also do the license plate one, and you can also do the rear hatch light as well. And once again, it just kind of makes everything brighter. Like when I used to have the stock dull one, you can't really see, but now that I have the LED, you can see a lot more at night. Okay, so now that we talked about interior lighting, once again, it's a very slight modification, but it does kind of better the experience of owning any car because, you know, you can see a little bit better. It's not too bright because whenever I mention LEDs, people are thinking, you know, it's going to blind me. It's not going to blind you. It's a lot more helpful seeing in the dark in your car. But now that that's out of the way, I have kind of 2 in 1. So the first one's going to be radio. Now, I have pretty much the rarest radio that came in these cars. It's the base model radio. There were a couple different options. I'll pop the pictures up here. So there was the base model, which is this guy. Then there was the second one that was, it kind of looks similar to this, but it has built-in Bluetooth. And then the third one that came with the touchscreen, or it came with the screen. All right, so I actually forgot to mention the final radio. There's actually 4 of them in total. Now, this later one, depending on what year you have, they were usually found in the 2014 to 2016. They weren't really found in the 2011 and 2012. And same goes for that second radio that looks like mine with a built-in Bluetooth. Like, you weren't really finding those in the 2015s or 2016s. So there were different years, but this last radio is pretty much a whole screen. There's analog buttons and stuff, but the screen is a lot bigger than the previous radio I showed with the screen. So I forgot about it, so I thought I'd add it in. The reason why I say this is the rarest is because nobody got the base model radio. Like, nobody wanted the radio without the Bluetooth. So you're probably asking, how did you get Bluetooth? And I made a separate video about this where I showed how to get Bluetooth in any car using an aux, but it would be radio. You can buy a radio. Obviously, you can buy an aftermarket radio kit and has Bluetooth. You can even hook one up to a backup camera, which I have another one right here. But yeah, you can do so much with radios. And the only reason I haven't touched mine is I like the way mine looks. I like the period correctness. There's actually a little backstory to this radio. It was meant to look aftermarket because at that time, a lot of people were modifying cars, and, you know, Scion wanted to do something where it kind of looked modified from factory, and I think they kind of nailed it. But yeah. I told you this was a 2 in 1, so the next one would be to change the interior lighting colors. Now, what do I mean by that? So that one went from kind of a yellowish orange to a blue or white, crisp white. Obviously, Scions come orange, right? You can see my dash colors are all orange, and the radio here is all orange. Well, there's a kit that you can buy online where you can pretty much change it to whatever color you want. I've seen people get creative with this and they just put LED white, which LED white looks really good. I've seen people do blue, I've seen people do red, purple, pink, whatever color you want, you can pretty much do it. So the radio is a little bit harder because you have to completely open up the radio and you have to mess with those LEDs, like especially ones here, like the CD changer LEDs. Like, the radio is going to be a little bit more difficult, and the clock one too. But the dash one isn't too bad, but that is also another modification that you can do. It takes a little bit more TLC to do that because you don't want to mess anything up, but that is an option that you can do as far as interior modification. I guess the next one that I want to talk about is seats. Here is pretty much what the factory seat looks like, and it is pretty hard to tell on camera, and I apologize for doing this at night, but this was the only time I had. You can see these little kind of like designs in the seats, and there's actually a little cool, not like Easter egg, but there's pretty much a cool thing about these seats, and mine's pretty fucked up from over the years. I did have a water leak. I made a video on that, and so a lot of the water damage has like stayed, which kind of sucks. Oh, but yeah, definitely seats. There is a good company, it's Brom, and they make a good direct bolt-on seat for this car. It is fake leather. I believe the YouTuber Those Auto Guys, or Those Auto Car Guys, has the Brom seat, and it looks really good. It sits a little bit lower, so I'm 6'5", and pretty much, you know, my knees are constantly up like this, so I'm thinking about getting those Broms to where I can sit a little bit lower and have a little bit more knee space. But yeah, you can get an NRG seat, you can get a prismatic seat, you can get a Bride or Brid, however you want to say it. You can get a Recaro seat. There's the options for seats are endless. So now for that little kind of like Easter egg, or a little kind of like special thing about the seats is, so you see the design here. So there's a stripe going there, there's a little hoop and stuff, and you even have it on the back seats as well. So the funny thing about that is they are all different. every TC, if you get the 2.5, so if you get a 2014 to 2016, they don't come with a design. I think they come like gray, or I don't know why they did that. It looks really ugly. But so if you were to go to a junkyard and find another seat, it doesn't matter if it's passenger, driver, it's not going to have the same design as the one in your car. And that, I thought it was pretty cool. So each design that a TC has is its own design. Like, none of them look the same. So you can see I have kind of like these little spots here, and then a line here, and then a line here. Don't mind the garbage. This has become the work truck for the winter months. Over here, you know, I got a circle and line and, you know, all this other stuff. That is unique to this chassis. Like, there is not another seat that looks the same. So this next one is going to kind of be another bonus one. Now, I haven't seen too many people do this, and it was the YouTuber Prism Mike that actually gave me the idea to talk about this, because I've never actually seen it done, and he's done it to a number of his cars. But on the TC, and you can even do this for the first gen too, you don't have to have a second gen, this kind of cloth piece here comes in this gray, right? Now it's fine, you know, it's normal. It doesn't get stained. Like, I have this black mark here that I could not get off for the life of me. And on the passenger side, it's the same thing. You got this gray piece here. Well, what you can do is you can take the door panel off and you can actually add a design. And what I was thinking about doing was taking the gray off and putting the HKS pattern. Would that be kind of cringe? Yes, but I do think the HKS pattern looks really good. But you get the gist of it. You can pretty much put whatever fabric design you want. So if you want to have a TRD design, you can do that. I'm sure you can go on eBay or something and buy a TRD fabric that will fit in here. And you pretty much just replace the gray and you put your own design. Or if you want to change it to black, or if you want to change it to red, I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. The options are countless. And I haven't really seen that on any of the TC chassis. I've seen that on other cars, obviously, but I don't really see people messing around with this. And, you know, I'm thinking about doing it one day, because I think that would be pretty cool as far as the uniqueness and the modifications go. So now this next one is mainly for the manual guys. I should have mentioned it when I was talking about the shift knob, but I guess you can do this if you have an auto, but it would be a little bit cringe to do that. But for my manual guys out there, you can change this to be whatever you want. So clearly, if you have the manual, it comes with this black fabric that goes all the way up to the tip of the shift knob, or not the tip, but just like right about here. And what you can do is you can pop this trim piece off, this silver part, and you can pretty much put whatever kind of fabric you want. Now, obviously, this is universal to a lot of vehicles, but once again, not a lot of people do this to the Scion TCs, but you can do the exact same thing. If you like the Brid or the Bride design, you can make that as your fabric here. Now, clearly, mine is an auto. It's all plastic, and it has all the lettering and stuff, but for you manual guys, you know, you don't have to just rock that black fabric. You know, you can do another design. If you want to do an HKS pattern, they sell that. If you want to do a Bride pattern, they sell that. It's not too hard either. You twist the shift knob off, you take off this silver piece right here, you take off the old fabric, you put the new fabric on, make sure that it's seated with the silver piece when you put it back in, put the shift knob on top of it, and there you go. You changed your fabric to something a lot cooler. And so now for more of my performance guys, and I think this is going to be my last one, because, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do these interiors as far as modifications go, but the last one is pretty cool. You can put interior strut bars in the back. Now, that does mean that you have to take off, or, you know, your back seat won't really be as usable anymore, because the strut bar kind of takes up the middle here. But I'll put a picture of it up here and you can see what it looks like. I currently don't have it, nor am I going to be getting it, because it makes your car less useful, especially, you know, if you track this car and you bring this car to the track and, you know, you want to put a quicker lap time, then yeah, do it. But if it's a daily driver, or if you're not thinking about taking this thing to the track, I don't know why you would put a rear strut bar in there, but it is an option. So that's pretty much all I got. If I missed something, or if you think there's something that I should mention next time, or maybe a part 2, drop it in the comments. You know, let me know what kind of cool ideas you think for interior designs and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you did enjoy this video, or if this helped you out in any way, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.